Want to know what it's like to live in the free world? Welcome to Oklahoma, where apparently they just throw mags and ammo at you. I found this fully loaded PMag down the center stripe of a road heading off to a state park with my kids just 2 days ago. I picked this up as nonchalantly as someone would find, say, a severed limb on the south side of Chicago. And that is America. That's Merca right there. That's the way that this is supposed to work. And I'm really grateful to the people and to the legislature and the governor of Oklahoma and how they've been working really hard to keep things free around here. Now, I'm sure that a bunch of you have heard what is now yesterday's Biden speech, where he's going on about deer and Kevlar vests again and all kinds of nonsense. And I was listening to see if there was one thing that would be correct, because in order to couch a lie, you really have to throw some truth in there. That's an effective lie. And it was just pure lies. There was hardly anything that was correct in there, except that some bad people have used some of the equipment that you see here on my bench. They have used some of these things. And I'm sure that it was effective, because it is designed to be effective. Whether you're a good person or a bad person, it can be effective for you for good, it can be effective for you for evil. It's just a thing. It in its own self is not evil. But before we delve into some of the heavier things here, I wanted to immediately address some of the individual sticking points that he pulled out. First off, the whole cannon thing. He's brought this up a couple times. Yes, we actually can own cannons, and that was something that was dealt with a long time ago, back during the Founders' days, where I think it was John Adams received a letter from a private individual who had some cannons, and he was wondering, hey, the war's over. In this new world, what am I supposed to be doing with these? And John Adams just wrote back and said, keep them and use them, you nincompoop. That's, this is the free world now. They're yours. So yeah, that one's out the window. But then the whole deer and Kevlar vest thing. Biden has brought this one up twice. It's a ridiculous idea, not the deer and Kevlar vests, but if he's going to, if that's the criteria for limiting the size of our magazines, then he has completely failed, because there are deer and Kevlar vests. Enter the hog. As you have seen in some of my previous videos, I have gone out hog hunting with my buddies, and these things are ridiculously tough. And we were very, very glad that we loaded up with the biggest mags that we could find, and multiples of them. I had them in my pockets. I had them, in my jacket pocket, because hogs are, number one, the ones that we were dealing with started at about 200 pounds and went up from there. We were dealing with a whole sounder of hogs. We were within 100 yards of them. And actually, as we got down into the brush to try to track down some of the ones that we had wounded, okay, first off, as they're running, unless you hit the exact right spot, these things are not going down, at least not with the loads that we had. And so these things are still out, they are still dangerous, they are still completely mobile. And as we were tracking them down, one of them actually rushed my buddy, and it's a good thing that I had just handed him a fresh PMag full of 75 grain boat tail hollow points, and he dumped that ammo right into that animal's face and ended up with only about, I think, 10 rounds left in one of his mags. And it was a good thing that he had just emptied that thing out. And actually, I put some in that animal as well. So yeah, there are some just wonderful reasons for having this stuff, as far as hunting goes. But even that's just like surface level. That's silly stuff. Everybody knows, and based on the Founders' writings, that what we're really about here is we're not limited. The right of the people to keep and bear arms shall not be infringed. That means you can't trespass at all. You don't move the fence post. You don't step inside. You have no right touching any of it at all. And we can talk about nukes, but anything within that, what the heck? When it comes to not just work out in the field, but being able to deal with a tyrannical government, which we see more and more every day, and I've been seeing my entire life. The federal government has been completely off the rails since long before I was born. And really, its experiment is essentially over. And the true greatest purpose of the Second Amendment is to make sure that we are ammoed up against that kind of tyranny. So I just want to encourage you guys to push back against anything that happens here. I want to push back against this new ATF director, the whole ATF department. Even just this talk of gun control at that level of government is a breach of contract with the American people. It's a breach of the U.S. Constitution. And here in Oklahoma, we're done with it. And so I hope that a lot of you guys can use this as momentum to push back and to create a bunch of these laws that are going to shelter your state like mine has for me. And we're going to see, kind of how the rubber meets the road, since we have some, very opposing things going on. ATF feels like it can roll into my state if they suddenly come up with some new rules and, try to apply them to me, like, maybe taking away pistol caliber carbines and things like that, taking away these kind of stocks. And we have yet to see how Oklahoma would actually push back against those folks, but it's nice to know that we do at least have the legislation in place. But yeah, use this momentum, everybody. Take the time to fix things in your state, and hopefully we can create little pockets of freedom around here until eventually we can push back against an overreaching federal government. And I don't really have much hope that we'll ever really be able to do that, but maybe we can just kind of operate without them. That's my best hope for right now. Thanks a lot, you guys, for watching. I'll see you in the next video. We're going to talk a little bit more about the ATF and some of the sickness that is just kind of baked into the whole organization and how completely illegitimate the whole thing is. I'll see you in the next set of videos, and thanks to patrons of the Destructive Arts for making these possible. I'll see you all around.
Thanks for watching. If you liked this video, be sure to like, share, and most importantly, subscribe. Even if you didn't like this particular content, go ahead and subscribe. There's probably something coming that's more up your alley. Check out this playlist right here. This is going to have videos in a similar vein to what you just watched. These two videos we cherry-picked for you. And finally, The Social Regressive is on Patreon. So you can become a patron of the Destructive Arts and earn some goodies while helping us to provide high-quality videos just by kicking us a few bucks a month. Thanks a bunch for your patronage.